So today we're going to be taking a little trip down memory lane and looking back to the days of Fortnite Season 4. This is a very noteworthy season, as I feel like this was kind of the peak of hype for Fortnite, and also a ton of people were just starting to get into it and get deep into the game. And honestly, I just kind of missed those days. So what I wanted to do today is go back and look at 10 things that only Season 4 Fortnite players will remember. Also, make sure to leave a like and subscribe or I will light you on fire. Other than that, let's get straight into it. So when you're talking Season 4, I think the first and most important thing you gotta remember is Dusty Divot. Now, while Dusty Divot may still technically be in the game, it is so neat to me and so cool to go back and look at what the Divot used to be at the start of Season 4. Before that, we had factories in Dusty Depot, and in a day, it just completely changed and we got this insane new area. This is the first time where a location was truly removed and then something else took its place. And it was a big deal. It was just such a hectic and crazy place to go. But looking back, I have so much nostalgia for just that giant hole in the ground. It's so weird to look at, but it is a spot that I really do miss. Now, with that being said, moving on to number 9, obviously we couldn't talk about Dusty Divot without Hop Rocks. Now, Hop Rocks aren't exactly something that I am begging for them to come back, but when you want to talk about nostalgic things from Season 4, this was an integral component of that entire season. Picking up a Hop Rock and just dropping in on a squad and going off was the greatest feeling ever, and having that done to you was probably the worst. We hadn't really seen anything like this yet in the game, and again, pairing this with Dusty Divot just is so much nostalgia. It's weird to me that something that was only like a year ago can really bring back that much nostalgia, but it's definitely there. Now, as much as Dusty Divot was a great spot and I do miss it, I gotta say, I miss Risky Reels more. Of all the places that have been removed, I feel like Risky Reels has definitely got to be up there, and for good reason. It was a great spot to drop, and before this location existed, there was really not much up in that corner besides a few houses. So this was a great spot, and I definitely miss it. I remember dropping here on the first day, and there was like the giant crater in the ground, and it was just such a new place, and we hadn't gotten a lot since the Season 2 update, so it was really exciting to see more. But if there is one thing that takes me back to Season 4 more than anything, it is the Week 7 challenge for Risky Reels. Now, not that it's anything special if you did, but this is the true test of whether you played Season 4 or not. Search 7 chests at Risky Reels. For those of you that don't understand, basically Season 4 was the first time that Epic had introduced a weekly challenge unlockable skin. Like all the other ones we've seen, the Prisoner, the Enforcer, but this one, the first was the Visitor. So to unlock it, you had to complete every challenges for 7 weeks worth of challenges, and Week 7 was the first week that people could finally unlock this skin. And the most difficult and insane challenge in it was search 7 chests at Risky Reels. Because there had never been a skin dropped like this before, everyone was so hyped to get it, and you literally had half the lobby dropping at Risky. This challenge took me and Mr. T Lexify like 3 hours to get because you just had so many people going. If you didn't get the perfect drop, you would never get a chest. I ended up having to go to Asian servers just because people were sleeping over there just to get it. And it was ridiculous. And if there's anything that reminds me of Risky Reels and just brings back that nostalgia, it has to be that Week 7 challenge. Now, moving on to our number 7 spot, I want to talk about the Battle Pass. Because while there were some really great skins in it, like Omega, the most standout part, in my opinion, of that season were the dances. I mean, Orange Justice alone was truly enough to make it a great battle pass of dances. But we actually just did a video ranking every single dance in Fortnite, and if you look at it, you'll see like every single dance from Season 4 is in the top 20. Not only was there Orange Justice, but you also had Hype, and of course, the Napoleon Dynamite Groove Jam. So just seeing 1 million people in a lobby all doing the Orange Justice together or anything crazy like that, that's another one that really brings me back to those days. Now, while Dusty Divot and Risky Reels were probably the biggest changes to the Fortnite map, there were more slight changes that were added all around the map. There were smaller crater sites around the map everywhere, but more importantly, you had one in the prison, which I think that alone evokes a little bit of nostalgia, as well as the original Tilted Towers. I mean, everyone kind of thought that Tilted Towers was going to get completely destroyed, and while it did get hit, it wasn't super major. But all these crater sites around the map is another thing that really just stands out to me as like some classic, like, just coolness of Season 4. Also, RIP Prison. Now, moving on to our number 5 spot, this would not be an appropriate Season 4 list if we didn't talk the Infinity Gauntlet mode. Original Thanos in Fortnite was, I think, honestly, the peak hype that has ever existed for Fortnite. There are some single events like Ninja and Drake playing together, but as far as like gameplay wise goes, this was the peak hype. For me, it was just so cool to see this game that I'd been playing for months now building up and getting this crazy crossover with Marvel. And there's actually a lot of people that also say the original Infinity Gauntlet mode is better than the endgame mode we saw this year around. I mean, that's certainly up for debate, but there's just no denying, like, that game mode is just such an iconic part of the peak hype of Fortnite. Now, another thing we got to talk about if we're going to talk about some just Fortnite nostalgia for Season 4 is, of course, the weapons. This was definitely one of those times where Epic was rolling out a ton of new weapons. We saw the FAMAS added in, as well as the thermal AR, dual-wield pistols, and stink bombs. But I think there is no gun that is more notorious and noteworthy than in the final patch of Season 4, the drum gun. I mean, it's something that we got back today, and a lot of people obviously do love it. But Season 4 was like the OG release of the drum gun, and that was just kind of shocking, but also interesting to see where it led up with Season 5 and all that SMG spam stuff. It was definitely a notorious pick, but it is something worth noting. Now, with all that being said, I think weapons were a very iconic part of Season 4. There was no patch that added a new item in, I think, that was more significant than bouncers. Dude, bouncers were such a huge deal when these got added in. I just think back to like seeing ninja clips on Twitter of just the craziest trick shots the first day that these things were added in. And I just feel like there was so much hype for all these new little updates. And honestly, if there was anything that I would ask for to come back, it would be bouncers. There was so much skill to them, and they added so much complexity to the game, and they were just so much fun. I get that a lot of people did want the drum gun back, but honestly, if I could have had my way, I probably would have gone with bouncers. Okay, moving on to our number 2 spot, we've got shopping carts. Okay, so shopping carts, like, just watching these clips these were one of the most ridiculous things ever added into Fortnite. Dude, shopping carts were both a nightmare, a blessing, a curse. I don't know. Shopping carts were weird. Shopping carts were the most buggy, glitchy vehicle that has ever existed in Fortnite. I think at least 3 times a week throughout the entirety of Season 4, they got removed because there was a bug with them and then they added them back in. You'd always see that thing at the bottom of the screen like, shopping carts have been temporarily disabled. Again, it was just so ridiculous, and the glitches that came from them were hilarious. They were broken, they were ridiculous, and they were just everything that was fun of Season 4 Fortnite. Alright, now ladies and gentlemen, coming in at our number 1 spot, I think the most iconic thing of Season 4, it would just be such an insult to put it anywhere less than our number 1 spot, so it's gotta be here. At our number 1 spot, the most iconic part of Season 4 has got to be the rocket launch. Never before and never again will there be something as huge and monumental as that. It was the first ever giant live event for Fortnite, and really it was just so cool to see the community coming together and seeing like what would happen. It went for Tilted Towers, it went all around the map, and then it just disappeared in a giant rift. And it led us to Season 5, which kind of in a way with the storyline has brought us to where we are now. that's another can of worms. But most importantly, it was just this huge coming together of the Fortnite community to celebrate like one of the best seasons we ever saw and probably will ever have. So it was a pretty big deal, and it's gotta be our #1 spot. Anyways, though, guys, that is going to wrap up our video for today. Before you leave, if you could please leave a like, and as well, if you want to see me do another one of these, I would really like to, so let me know what season you'd like to see. I was just really feeling the season 4 nostalgia, so I wanted to do that, but I'd be down to do like 5 all the way through to pre-season Fortnite. So let me know, subscribe to the channel, or I seriously will come to your house and light you on fire and then pour pudding on you. So listen, it's just going to be easier if you hit the subscribe button, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Thank you for watching, and peace out, you frickin' nerds.